So right here I have my favorite combo, my MPC right next to my 404. The MPC just gives you the best of the sequencing, sampling, pretty much almost everything. But the sp404 has a very unique sound that I really enjoy. So I like running my signal through the 404 straight to my DAW so I can print my tracks. Oh, and to top it off, I have my record player that I have right here. This is honestly my favorite combination. My vinyl player, my MPC, and my 404. If I could choose a go-to setup to keep for a very long time, this would be it. MPC, 404, and my vinyl player with a handful of records. Now, I enjoy my source of sampling be from vinyl into the MPC1 and the sp404. I've said this before, but it's just this flavorful touch to my overall mix that I personally enjoy, and that's how I print my tracks. Now with this really cool combo, you guys can pick this up at Zounds. I do leave links down in the description of my videos when it comes down to the unit that I'm using, the cables that I'm using, record player that I'm using. Go ahead and check out those links. Zounds is awesome to shop when it comes down to audio gear. Great payment plans if you want to pick this up and just start making payments. They do not do background check with any of these units that I have right here. So make sure you guys go check them out if you want to see anything that I'm using within this setup. But I just want to go through very quickly and just show you guys how I use this combination, the sp404, when do I engage it, and how I move with my MPC and my record player. Right here, I have a blank session at 80 beats per minute. I have no drums, no samples. I'm going to start off in my track number 1, and I want to start sampling. I usually will start with drums or a drum break. There's other times where I want to just start with a sample. I heard a record right here that I want to start with, and I want to see where that takes me, see how that influences the way I'm going to choose my one shots. So go ahead and name track number 1 sample. In this empty program, I'm going to name this sample as well, because there's nothing going on right here. I haven't sampled into the MPC yet, but I'm going to jump into my sampler and I'm going to just sample in pad tap. Pad tap is just going to sample into whatever program you were selected last before we jumped into this page. So this makes me move fast. I don't even have to go into my sample editor. I could just drop the needle and start slicing up these pads, and I'm good to go. So that only works when I know what I'm going to sample and I know how I'm going to sample it. Yeah, I'm already tapping out the tempo. At about 76 beats per minute, and let's start recording that. All right, make this into 4 bars. I want to keep adding to this. Nice. And just like that, jump into track number 2, create a blank program, name this drums, and go right into my browser, go to my folder, and I'm gonna go to my sample pack volume 3 and start auditioning. Meanwhile, I'm playing back the sample sequence that I just laid down. I'm doing this because I want to find the correct kick and snare and hi-hat that sounds mixed to the sample. Everything is going to sound different according to the sample that we're using. So I'm going to go into my kicks. I'm going to audition. Now, I'm sure there's more kicks that I might like, but I'm gonna stop. I wanna just move and keep going. I'm gonna go to my snares. Same thing, go to my hi-hats. So I usually like to put my kicks snares, and hi-hats. And mix levels, I'll just mix these really fast as I'm listening to this. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start recording. I'm gonna turn off TC and just lay down my drum groove freely. See, hopefully I don't mess it up too much. And now it's at this point where I have my drums and my sample, where I want to start adding some ghost kicks to the groove of my drums, or even adding some sidechain compression to this mix, where it just really starts blending very nice. But before I jump into that, I want to say thank you to today's sponsor, DistroKid. If you're somebody that creates music and just builds up amazing sounding tracks and just leaves them in your hard drive, do yourself a favor, sign up to DistroKid and start releasing your music. DistroKid makes it really easy, really fast to put out your music to the public. Now, if you're telling yourself, you know what, I don't have nobody that hears me, nobody that listens to my music, am I even at that level to put out a track and just be competitive with what there is out there? That's why DistroKid is very helpful. One thing that I've learned throughout working with DistroKid is that they have so many tools to engage with your audience and build a fan base through pre-launches or pre-sales, where people can start getting connected with what you're going to release before you even release it. If you have not checked out DistroKid, do yourself a favor, click the link down in my description, get 7% off your first year's membership, and check out what they have to offer. There's so much for everybody. So make sure you guys check them out and see what plan works best for you and start releasing your music today. So within this workflow that I have my drums, my sample, rocking back and forth, I'll go to my drums and my kick is right here. I open up this dialog and I go to the individual pad. I'm gonna go to my inserts and I'm going to add mother ducker input to my kick. And then I jump back to my sample and I'll go to the entire program. So I go to the 4 squares, go to insert, and I'm gonna add mother ducker right there. Woo. Yeah. Now this just kind of glues everything together and it's pumping together. It almost sounds compressed, but I'm not using no compressor on my master bus. There's actually nothing on my master bus right now. And that is where I bring in the sp404. The sp404 is just chock full of effects, different sounds that you could put on your entire mix. Now, right now on the 404, I have nothing going on the 404. We're just listening to the clear signal. But if I engage one of my master presets, whew, wow, this sounds awesome right here. And it's at this point where I'm starting to feel a connection. I'm starting to feel how this is blending. Now, when I have a better understanding of how this is sounding, now I go back to my drums, go to my grid editor, and I'll start adding some ghost kicks. Now that I kind of feel where we're going with all this. Hit overdub. There you go. I'm just throwing a few here and there. I don't want to overdo it, but I can just select some of these ghost kicks within the grid editor, go to automation, and bring down the automation of these, the velocity, a few notches down. There you go. Now, this is why the MPC to me is just it allows me to go 100% standalone because I'm able to do everything that I would do in a DAW directly from the grid editor. The grid editor is just like working in Ableton. Now, don't get me wrong, being in Ableton within the software, there's so many other things you can do, but the main tools that I would need are going to be given to us within the grid editor here on our MPC. So velocity changes, grid editor, note shift, forward, backwards, nudges, all that is those are the type of tools that I want to have at my fingertips that I can make something sound very nice to me. So that's what I have right here within my grid editor within our MPC. And now I can jump into the sp404 and actually go into track mutes with my MPC1. And listen, I only have 2 tracks. I have my sample and my drums. And with these 2 tracks, with the sp404 right next to you, I'm able to bounce ideas back and forth. I just mute some tracks every now and then, write some effects, unmute the track, and come back with some other effects. This combination is really exciting. So now I'm filming these videos and I'm having a great time. I'll talk with you back and forth and do my best to explain certain things that I'm doing. But when I'm by myself and all cameras are turned off, I notice that I can build 90% of an entire track without hitting the stop button. Just being able to sample in the sample mode that I'm in, and then just digging through samples for drums and start laying them down on the sequencer. And I'll notice, I'm like, man, I have not stopped the music. I'm still moving. And by the time I do stop, and I'll kind of sit down and I'm like, all right, where am I at? Or what am I doing? Let me listen to this. I'll pay attention. But one thing I notice is that when I'm in a consistent flow where I'm not stopping, I notice that my music feels good when it all blends together. Now, I've gone through a really bad week. This past week, I kept trying and forcing myself to building a track, and it just would not happen for me. I was trying to put drums and breaks and this, and it just was not happening. I took some time off. I went out. I just did things that had nothing to do with audio, no music. I, go to the gym. I'll hang out with my family. I'll try to distract myself. And just recently, I came back into the studio. I was not planning on forcing myself to make the greatest beat ever, but I just threw my headphones on and I noticed that things just blended naturally. And I said, here it is. This is where the magic is at. It did not take me no more than 20 minutes. Find what suits you. Find what matches your creativity. I could use a certain sampler or a certain program that everybody else is using because I feel like that's what I should be using, and I do not connect with it. I was trying a different setup, and I guess I was forcing myself, and it was not working for me. And I said, you know what? Let me connect what I always go to, which is my record player, and I sample from vinyl. I'm not trying to say that that's the way it should be for everybody, but that's where I connect. I don't know what it is with my ears, but I find samples when I'm digging through records versus when I go through YouTube. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's something mental, but records resonate a lot faster for me. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't want to go too off on a different topic. I mainly want to just sit down and have a good time with my favorite combination. If you are somebody that's interested in trying something out and you're like, man, I want to try out the 404, but I'm not sure if I'm going to like it, check it out. Links down in the description. Check it out at Zounds. You don't like it, send it back. But I most likely feel like you're going to like the 404 with an MPC. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope each and every one of you have a blessed holiday with your families. I hope you guys have a great time. I'll catch y'all on our next video. Peace.